Hey, hey, legacy leaders. I'm gonna bring back my bars down there. Doing all the things, y'all. Okay, so we're back to leadership qualities. I lost my book, but it's fine because we found it. So we're back doing this, finishing it up. I think we only have like 3 more to go. So I'm really excited, but I just want to make sure that I finish this because it's so important and I think it's awesome to go back to, okay? So today, hey Amanda, this leadership quality is self-awareness, okay? So we start off by reading that it is never a pretty sight when you have a self-protective leader, ever. Never. Why? Because they're in like for themselves, right? They don't care about anything else. They're not worried about anything else. They're worried about protecting them. Okay? Nothing else matters to them. So it's a leader who literally cares about themselves. Maybe they're protecting their numbers, their reputation. I don't know how they're seen. Oh, I need this. Sorry. Whatever it is, okay, that leader is legit focused on just them. Okay? They don't care about anybody else. So maybe that's them about their mental health, which I totally get. So let me caveat that. I totally get that. Like, you've got to protect your peace, okay? But we also have to remember that, like, we have a team of people counting on us, okay? They're looking at you. They're wondering where you are. Did you shut them out? Did you send them their email? You know, did you do the things that you have been doing or are supposed to be doing, okay? So of course, we want a team of loyal people that we know have our back, okay? Loyalty is something that Whitney and I both take seriously, especially for directors and above. We've talked about it. We want to make sure that, like, we have each other's backs. That's very, very important. That doesn't mean that we're not going to be honest with one another, though, okay? There's a difference with having someone's back and telling them what they want to hear all the time, okay? There's a big, big difference, all right? So to some, loyalty is defined as unquestioning, okay? Unquestioning compliance, absolute protection, all right? From those who might question their motives or their methods or the outcomes of what might happen, okay? You guys, that's not true loyalty. True loyalty should not be your team being terrified to ask you something or to say, can you explain why you decided to do something that way? That's not true loyalty. Okay? If your team feels like they cannot come to you and you are not a safe place where they can voice their opinions, their thoughts and ideas, that's a problem. All right? You are definitely a self-protective leader if that's the case. Hey, Sherry. So I want you guys to be aware of that because, again, nothing happens well when you have a self-protective leader, okay? We've got to make sure we are self-aware and that we really are people-focused. This is a business, yes, but it's also where a lot of people come for community. Okay, so you have to keep that in mind. All right, so when you are all about self-protecting as a leader, it assures the stunting of self-awareness. Okay, yes, Amanda, I agree. I want my people to feel comfortable messaging me. I don't want them to be like, can't talk to her. Oh my gosh, you can't ask her a question. Like, am I going to be honest with my people? Of course, I will always be honest with them, but there's a way to do it, right? And I always want them to be like, Anya, why did you decide to do this? And then I can talk to them and be like, this is why I do it this way. This is, you know, how this goes, okay? So I think that's extremely, extremely important, all right? But when we are self-protective leaders, we are assuring the stunting of self-awareness, okay, which is one of the key things to emotional intelligence and crucial to healthy leadership. We want to be healthy leaders. We do not want to be unhealthy leaders because that's like, I mean, let's talk about COVID, right? If we are not healthy leaders, okay, if you are not a healthy person and you have COVID and you go around a bunch of people or the flu or whatever it is and you go around a bunch of people, you're not protecting them, right? You're not being like, oh, I care about you, okay? So we want to make sure that we ourselves are healthy leaders so that we can pour out the things that we're giving to our team. It's not toxic, right? It's not off-putting. It's not like, she's scary, okay? That's like, we don't want that as leaders, all right? So we want to make sure we do that. I literally just had a conversation with one of my downline superstar consultants, and she was like, hey, I'm going to put this out there. I am frustrated with this because of X, Y, and Z, and I feel like maybe we should look at changing it up. And I thought, okay, well, we've always done it this way. But I'm definitely going to hear her out. I'm definitely going to listen to her concerns. And it's not the first time I've heard that concern, not from that person, but from other people. So what does that tell me? If I'm hearing the same concern from different people, okay, then I need to make a change somewhere for something, okay? And it's not me, but it's the situation needs to change. How we go about doing certain things probably needs to change, okay? If it's not being able to be trickled down easily to everybody else, that's a problem, all right? So we want to think about that, and we want to be approachable as leaders, okay? So without self-awareness, you cannot fully know yourself. You cannot fully know how your leadership is affecting other people. And I know a lot of people get into leadership and they're like, they don't see themselves as a leader. They don't see themselves as people watching them or paying attention to their every move. They don't see themselves as people who are like, is she on the banner? Has she trained this month? Has she done this and this? And they don't see themselves that way, right? But people are truly watching you. If you're a leader, if they've seen that promotion fly or go up about, oh my gosh, look at so-and-so, they're a star consultant, they're a lead consultant. They're watching you, okay? Whether it's a customer who might be a potential teammate later, maybe it's somebody who might be a potential customer later, or a teammate. They're literally watching you. They're watching how you work. They're watching what you do. They're watching your personal life that you're posting on social media, all of it, okay? So you need to be aware, even if you're like, I'm not that great. No, really, they're watching you, I promise, okay? I promise. Just know that, and they're watching me. That lights a fire under me. I don't know about you, but I'm like, if people are watching me, I need to make sure that like, I'm kind of, y'all know I'm a mess, kind of sort of in line, okay? Kind of sort of have my stuff together, just a little bit, all right? But we want to make sure that we know how we're affecting other people, okay? When we surround ourselves only with people who tell us what we want to hear, okay? That is basically those people who have your back to the detriment of your heart, which is not good, okay? It's like building a warrior, or it's like building an army of terracotta warriors. And if you don't know what that is, look it up, homeschool. Homeschool vibes over here. I'm giving you some stuff to look up. But look it up, okay? Because back in history, these terracotta warriors basically were built up to protect the leader, and that was it. So when the true battle came, they were gone. Those terracotta warriors did not stand a leg because they weren't loyal to the cause. They were just there because they were doing what their leader told them. They couldn't speak. They couldn't have any type of ideas or anything. They were just there, but they weren't really, truly, their heart wasn't there. Okay, so they would peace out every time there was a war or something crazy going on. All right, we don't want that to be the case. We don't want when the actual battle comes to us that our whole team crumbles, our whole group crumbles, okay? Because then you are basically left defenseless. And the only one that you have left is yourself. And you lack self-awareness, right? And insight. Because we all do. We all do. It has to be this ever-progressing thing that we're paying attention to be like, ooh, I'm really not great at that. Let me fix that. Ooh, okay, I don't like that, but I need to look at a different way to do it, okay? So we do not want to build our teams full of terracotta warriors, basically, is what we don't want to do, okay? It's not about the quantity of people that we have, the biggest team, the biggest platform, the most social media friends, the most friends in real life, in public, right? It's not about that, you guys. When it comes down to it, there is no strength in numbers if the numbers aren't strong. So I'll just give you this example. In the past 2 months, my group has lost over 70 people. Over 70. That's a lot of freaking people to lose. But if those people have been sitting at 0 for 12 months, what was the point of me having those 70 people? Do you see what I'm saying? I can have 70 less people who are willing to work their butts off and love this business that I can work with and pour into and help lead them, okay? And it's going to be much stronger than me having people who just don't care, don't want to do anything, or we're only here to kidnap, right? Okay, so think about that, okay? It is imperative to have a few good people in your corner who are actually going to tell you the truth, whether it stings or not. I know, that sucks. Nobody wants to be told what they're not doing right. Nobody wants to be told that people don't like what they're doing or how they're doing it. No one wants to be told that probably not a good idea to do it that way, or I don't really care. Nobody wants to be told that, okay? You don't. But your heart truly does want to hear, or will tell you what your ego wants to hear. So that means we've got to have people in our corner, but are willing to be honest with us and tell us the truth. Okay. So we have to do that. And it's like no one likes constructive criticism, but how important is it for your growth? To be better, to be more mentally strong, right? And to be better, stronger, and faster, you need that constructive criticism. Okay. I think about it as like when I played softball. And I pitched, and I had a coach who would always fuss at me about my feet. Like, my feet were never correct, okay? She'd always fuss. Your feet, your feet, your feet. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, but I'm pitching strikes. I'm striking people out, right? I'm doing the work I'm supposed to do. Why are you always on me? But when I finally listened and changed my feet, my pitch went way faster and it was way harder and way stronger, okay? That matters. That's important, all right? You can't do those things if you don't have people telling you, hey, you need to fix this. Hey, this isn't working. Let's try this, all right? So a large component of being self-aware is to understand how we, right, affect others with our words, our actions, and our attitudes. Okay, we're gonna start with our words. If you are not encouraging your teammates, you should be. That's a problem. Everybody needs encouragement. This world does not have enough of it, okay? If you are not messaging your teammates and you're like, say they put a post up that they want to grow their PRV, and you're not actively trying to message them to be like, hey, here's a PRV idea, or commenting on their post, here's a PRV idea. Now, if they don't take it and run with it and do something, that's completely different. But were you there to help them with your words? Okay? Next, our attitudes. If you have a teammate that tries to message you or comes to you and you're constantly rude or nasty or negative, I feel like that speaks for itself. Nobody wants to be around someone who's rude, okay? Or even maybe your attitude is, well, I don't have time for this and I'm the best. Okay, well, we all have 24 hours in a day, okay? You signed up for leadership, so make good decisions, okay? Message them back when you can, all right? Like, but there's no need to be rude. There's no need to think that you're better than someone else. No, not okay, all right? Let's talk about your actions, which also go back into sometimes our attitudes and our words, right? If you see someone at SFR and they are refusing to talk to you, or they're like, oh gosh, and they roll their eyes, or they just act annoyed at every single thing that's happening, that's gonna affect other people. So we have to remember that as leaders. How are our attitudes and our words and our actions going to affect other people, okay? Keep that in mind, all right? And if you read the Bible, it talks about Proverbs 27:17. Make sure I'm not misquoting the Bible, y'all, because that would be bad. As iron sharpen iron, so one person sharpens another. So you want to be around people who are going to sharpen you, who are going to make you better, okay? I will be super honest. When I talk to some of the SSDs, I feel about this big. I do. I feel about this big, you guys. But I know that if I'm in a room with greatness and I feel this big, I'm only going to get greater. I'm only going to get bigger, stronger, and faster, right? I can feel small. That's okay. But in my mind, I'm like, take it all in. You do the best that you can, Anya, but take it all in because that's what you are working for, okay? So we have to do that. Put ourselves around people who are going to sharpen us, who are going to better us, all right? Even if it's uncomfortable. All right? Okay, so pay close attention to others around you, okay? Because the outright of others is going to bring out the insight in you. So however they're acting when they're around you, that should bring up some insight in you. If they feel uncomfortable, if you notice their body language, like they don't really want to talk to you, they're scared. Like that should tell you something. Okay, maybe I need to try to be a little more approachable. Maybe I don't smile enough, okay? I know for me, when I'm uncomfortable, I kind of sit there like this the whole time. Okay, that's probably not approachable, but maybe if I can learn to smile when I'm uncomfortable, maybe that will help other people think, oh, she's approachable, right? Like, okay, even so, I don't like to be hugged. I don't like to be hugged. That is just me. It's the way that it goes, okay? But I don't ever want people to be like, I can't look at her, I can't talk to her. Like, if they hug me, they hug me. It is what it is. I don't like it, but I will hug back, okay? I don't want people to be like, ugh, stay away from Anya. She's so mean. I don't want that. Am I going to tell you the truth? Am I going to give you my best business advice? If you ask, 110%. Am I going to train and just give it to you? Yup. Not going to worry about your feelings at that current point in time, but I promise I do love you and want the best for you. And I want people to see that, okay? So we've got to be thinking about those things. Constant self-improvement is another thing we all have to be looking at. I'm going to give you some things, how to do that in a little bit, okay? None of us are perfect. Let's just be real. None of us are perfect, okay? There will be times where we really need to be rebuked more than we need a compliment from somebody. And sometimes that comes from your leader. Sometimes it comes from your director or your SSD. We have to be open to hearing that. Okay, on the flip side, we have to be open to giving that when we are leaders, all right? It doesn't have to be mean and nasty, but you can be honest with someone. If you've got a leader constantly saying, oh, well, I haven't shown up and I know that I need to, but my team just doesn't want to do anything. Okay, but did you hear that first part? You haven't shown up and you know that you need to, but you haven't shown up. And now you're upset that your team isn't doing what they're supposed to be doing, but you've not led by example. I can be honest in saying that, and that's not mean, that's not harsh, that's the truth. That's the straight up truth. Like, if you're not showing up, you can't expect them to show up, right? You need to be the leader that you want your people to be, okay? Hey, Sylvia. So we have to remember that too. We have to be willing to give that back, okay? It can be, what did someone tell me? A long time ago, someone told me, of course, it's not what you say, it's how you say it, right? But then also you can speak the truth in love. You don't have to be a cold-hearted, nasty B word to get the truth across. If someone came to me and was like, I haven't been there for my team, oh, but gosh, they won't do anything, they won't answer me. Baby girl, you haven't been there for your team. Why would they answer you? For what reason? Like, what have you given them to respect you as a leader? So that they would be like, I should answer them. They care about my well-being. They care about my business and they want me to succeed. What have you given your team for them to feel that way? Do you see what I'm saying? I don't have to be like, well, you don't show up to nothing. You suck. Show up, fool. I don't have to be like that. I can nicely and truthfully say it, okay? So we have to be able to think about those things, all right? And we have to be able to take them in, right, without getting butthurt. And if you are getting butthurt or if you are offended, then that needs to be some self-awareness, some self-reflection. Why does this upset me so much? Why is it bothering me so much that Anya just said X, Y, and Z? Is it because that it holds some weight? Is it because that it's true? It's because I need to change something? Or do I feel like she's saying it right at me? You know how sometimes like you go to church and you're like, dang, that pastor spoke right to me. Does he see me? Does he live in my house? Does he know that I just screamed at my kids? Okay, but he really doesn't. He's just speaking the truth. You feel some type of way because it's probably true. All right? We have to be able to take that in and then change it and do something positive with it, okay? Even Jesus provided a safe environment for open interaction with his followers. Okay? And we all know we're not better than Jesus. Let's just be real. We're not. Okay? So if he can do that, we can provide a safe, open interaction place for our followers, teammates. Okay, we can do that for them, all right? And in her book, she talks about John 13:8, where Peter says no to Jesus about washing his feet. He's like, no. And Jesus wasn't hard-hearted. He wasn't rude back, okay? But his response was to correct Peter's thinking, not Peter's outburst. I think that's extremely important for us to remember, okay? Because like this morning, I had a chat with one of my directors, and we were just talking, and she was like, okay, but I really feel like I should do X, Y, and Z because... And she was like, no, I think I'm going to do it this way. And I'm not going to be like, no, you're wrong. All I said was, okay, I hear what you're saying. Now here's this perspective. Because as the team grows, right, as all these people have all of these resources to be successful, have they shown up to a team meeting? Have they been on a training? Have they looked at their workstation? Because there's so many trainings and Scentsy gives us way more things than we ever could even imagine. Have they done any of those things, or are they just complaining? Rather than you hand-holding them to get to what they need, okay? We can say something nicely to that person, but let's look at the perspective as the group grows. And she was like, oh, dang. Okay? She's not wrong where she's at in her mindset. That's, for her size, that's what she's thinking. But she needs to think on a bigger scale. And who's going to help her do that? Me. That's what I'm there for, okay? As it grows, she's got to change and shift. Okay? And it's easy to do that. I need you to change your thinking and correct your thinking, not the fact that you're like, no, Anya, I'm not doing that. Okay? So we have to remember that as leaders, because that is so crazy, crazy important. Yes, Sylvia, do for one what you can do for 100, and that matters, okay? That's in team gifts. That's in your responses to people and helping them out. You guys, that's in your systems and how you're helping people to be successful. It's in so many different things. Do for one what you could do for 100, okay? Where was I? Next. Okay. It is not okay to be rude to your leader. It is not okay to be rude to your teammate. We know this, okay? Vice versa. Like, we're not going to be rude to anybody, okay? But we're focused on leaders right now because that's what this is all about, is leadership, okay? But we need to make sure that we are not all high and mighty, okay? Well, I'm a director, so... Well, I'm an SSD, so... No, that is disgusting and that is nasty, and no one is better than another, okay? Okay, no one is better than another, all right? So we're not doing that. Like, that's gross. Ew. Okay. We are going to talk to people. We are going to help people. We are going to help them understand our point of view. It is not just going to be like, it is this way because it's this way and I'm an SSD and that's it. Okay. But no, times change, things change, and the world is constantly evolving. Our businesses are constantly evolving. Our teams are constantly growing, which is good. We have to be open and honest and ready for that change, okay? So we have to look at why we're doing something, how we could possibly maybe do it better, because there is no one size fits all or all one way. So if you as a leader are like, well, you don't need to do that. You need to onboard your people this way. Okay, but maybe that doesn't work for them, and maybe it doesn't work for their people. Do you see what I'm saying? Maybe that's something that they cannot keep up, and you're telling them they have to do it this way, but that's not replicatable for their team or even for them. So we have to be thinking that there's not one size fits all. Everybody's team is different, okay? That's the blessing of this business, is that there's so many different things, and it's beautiful and it's wonderful, okay? We have to be able to remember that when we're talking to our teams. Are there easier ways to do things? Yes. Do you see something from a completely different perspective than someone who has maybe no team members or one team member or just started leadership and you've been around for a year? 110%. And that's where that open conversation and that dialogue has to come in, okay? To where we can share those things and we can both grow, not just it's this way, because that's not going to work for everybody, okay? We want to make sure that, or she goes into safe but not successful. So you could be a safe leader, but not a successful leader. Okay? Okay. But these are tendencies that leaders have to help keep them safe. Okay? So the first one is conflict avoidance. Sometimes we have to say something. You guys, conflicts they're unavoidable, especially as your group grows. And most likely you work with a lot of women. There's that, okay? Lots of opinions, lots of ideas over there. Let's be real. So healthy people don't like a fight. Okay, I'm gonna throw this out there. It's gonna be on YouTube for all people to see. But I will never, ever, ever, ever forget when I first got married, my husband and his mother got in an argument. Okay? And she said, we fight hard, but we love hard. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, didn't work out for her. I'm just gonna throw that out there. Did not work out for her. So there's that. Okay, but also healthy people don't enjoy conflict. Healthy people don't say, I'm ready to fight today. Let's go. Who can I piss off? That's not healthy. That's not a healthy mindset. Okay, so let's just be very clear. Healthy people do not just want to fight. All right. We're not about that, okay? But conflict is unavoidable. We have to remember that too, okay? So everyone should be able to air their viewpoint about something and broaden the perspective of everybody involved when there is a conflict. So if I sat there yesterday or this morning, I don't know, when I was talking to my SSC who was or my downline SSC who's it's not working. It might be working for other teams, it's not working over here. If I sat there and I was like, I don't know what to tell you, works for me. Works for another director. What do you want me to say to you? Does that grow that person? Does that help that person? Does that bless that person? No. If we can talk back and forth, and now I can kind of see where she's coming from, she can kind of see where I'm coming from, and then even I put it back on her. If you were a director, what would you want me to do? How do you think we could go about things to help you and your team better? Okay, I'm going to put it back on her, because then it's going to make her think, okay, well, I'm over here thinking about, okay, if she's saying this, that means we might need to change something. I might need to do something. And I've heard it before from someone else, okay? But if I just sat there and I was like, I'll tell you, that sucks. Sucks to suck. And peaced out, that's not going to help her, okay? If I just shut her down and was like, we're not talking about this, that's not going to, one, she has no confidence in me as a leader. She's not going to come to me with literally anything, okay? And this girl's going to be one of my second-gen directors. That's not okay. I need to have a relationship with her. She's going to need that relationship. Trust me, okay? So, that's not helpful. She doesn't have confidence in me. She's definitely going to be like, Anya does not know what she's talking about. Okay. She's not going to want to talk to me about anything, all right? She's not going to come to me, okay? And I'm not helping her grow. Her mindset, her business, her team, her leadership, nothing. And that's literally my job. Okay, so we have to remember that too. Yes, thank you. We are leaders. Okay, we're not bosses. I'm not going to tell you that's just all this way and this is it and sucks to suck, figure it out. No, there are many ways. Let's do something different. Okay, I just learned, side note, someone on my team has, he said something where he goes like different places with his stuff, almost like a car trunk, and goes different places to do, okay, like that's cool. You just skip around and like go, it's almost like he's his own vendor. I'm like, but I don't do that. Now, if I'm to stop him, as long as he's like in compliance and doing what he's supposed to do in that area, like, okay, great. If I'm to say, you really shouldn't do that. You should only do online parties. Y'all, maybe that doesn't work for him. Okay. He's clearly doing what he needs to do his own way. He's being innovative and creative. And I think that's awesome. Okay. So yes, kind of like a trunk party. And he just goes around like, do you, boo? As long as it's in compliance, I don't care. That's what works for you. If you're growing your business and taking care of your customers, cool. Okay, we have to do that as leaders. All right. Another thing, if you're not just like, sorry, that was like squirrel. But if you are not good at conflict resolution, there are so many things that you can read and learn about and podcasts and things to help you become better at conflict resolution, because it's going to happen, especially if you're like, one day I'm going to be a director and above. Buckle up, baby. Conflict's coming. So just get ready. That's all I can tell you is be prepared. Be prepared, be polite, and be honest. That's it. Okay? All right. Next. Yes, people. That's me. Yo, that's me. That's me right here. I'm gonna be honest, okay? Yes, people. All right. You can't always be the person who will never say anything. You can't. When I first started leadership, like I wasn't gonna tell somebody, like one of my leaders, that they need to show up to a meeting. No, why would I do that? Yes, you need to do that, because guess what? Whitney did that for me, and look where I'm at today. Okay? Hey, there's a meeting tonight. Where you at? What are you doing? Oh, I forgot. Right? Because at that point, it just wasn't a priority, but it became a priority because she held me accountable. Okay? But you can't always be the person who never speaks up, who won't say what you think, who won't help hold people accountable. Okay? That's called being a yes person. All right? You can't always just say what people want to hear. That's not going to get you anywhere. Okay? It's not going to get you anywhere at all. All right. Yes, Sylvia, you do, because I'm going to tell you this, another squirrel. If you refuse to hold your people accountable in one way, form, or another, and it doesn't have to be like, be at the meeting, what are you doing? But like, if this business matters to you, you need to be at the meeting. Okay. If you're in my inbox 2 weeks from now telling me that this isn't working, your team didn't show up, blah, 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 I'm going to be like, you didn't pour into your own business. Why do you think your team's going to pour into their business? Okay. You weren't at the meeting. Like, none of my people showed up to the meeting. None of my people, they won't listen to a training. Well, Bill, you gotta lead, okay? You gotta do the thing. Gotta do the thing so they do the thing. Gotta, it goes back and forth, all right? That's one of those things. But especially as a director, if you're not willing to hold your people accountable, okay, you're gonna have people that, hate to say it like this, get pushed to director, okay? And then they don't do what they're supposed to do. Then they've got a whole team that's upset, or they lose their title, or they end up quitting. So guess what? You hold those leaders accountable now. You say, hey, there's a meeting. Hey, where you at? You had all these questions this week, but you in my inbox, but you can't show up to a meeting. Come on now. Like, what are you doing? Where are you at? Okay. If we can't do that, those people are going to fizzle out anyways. If they hear it and they're like, oh crap, I need to get my life together. And then they start doing the work. I'm trying. Let me put an AirPod in as I put my baby to bed. Let me put an AirPod in as I'm doing dishes. Okay, so I at least can catch some of it. If those people try and they don't take it as, oh my gosh, why is she on my back like this? Those people are going to be directors that stick. They're going to be good, solid directors, okay? Because they could take that, they could run with it, and it made them better, okay? Literally. Not that I'm perfect, because I'm not, but like living proof, because half the time I didn't show up for a very long time, but like I've only been with Scentsy for 3 years, so long time in my mind, okay? So that's caveat to that, okay? So we want to make sure that we are not just being yes people, okay? All right. If someone is around you that has a better idea than you, that doesn't like your idea in the first place, it's not going to break you. Surprise. It's not going to break you. It's actually going to help you grow, okay? It's going to help you grow, all right? That's how we develop in different situations. If we're on a team call and we're like, does anybody have an idea? And you're like, I don't want to say anything. Oh, my ideas suck. Oh, I don't want to rock the boat. I don't want to tell them that maybe we should do something different, okay? And then you do say something different and we're like, well, we tried it that way before and this is why it didn't work. Okay, yeah, I mean, you kind of heard a no, but now your mindset is now growing. Well, they didn't do it that way, so let me try to think of a different way. Okay, you're now growing and developing in that. It's okay. Or maybe you come up with something that none of us have ever freaking thought about in a million years, and it's amazing. Both are positives. Both you growing and you coming up with something awesome, those are positives, okay? All right, the next safe but not successful is buddy up. Hear me and hear me clearly. If you are trying to only be friends with all of the right people, if you see all these big names and those are the people you cling to, okay? And you're like, oh, well, the other day when I was one-on-one talking with Whitney Hebel at 11 p.m. at night about what we're going to wear to SFR, and you're always throwing stuff in there like that, okay? All right? Then that's not okay. Okay, you will develop an over-reliance on familiarity. You know what I'm trying to say, okay? To help us get to what you want and where you want to be. That's what that is. That's you relying on other people thinking if I drop this big name, they're going to accept me. If I drop this big name, everybody's going to think I know what I'm talking about. And okay, if you do know what you're talking about, great. Do your numbers back it up? Like, that's the thing, right? Stop just dropping big names to drop big names. Okay? So, trying to be someone's friend because of their name, or let's even say their title in this business, is called using them. Just to be super straightforward, okay? We want to be true friends, not an opportunistic buddy to someone. All right? So, like, big names are great. You have a lot to learn from those people, as long as they're not a wolf in sheep's clothing. Okay? We're just going to say that. Okay. You want to make sure that whoever big name you're looking up to and you think is awesome, their money is where their mouth is. Okay? Like, they're actually doing those things. They're actually producing. They're actually growing their team. They're actually, being paid at title. That's one of my hardest things right now. I'm very, very frustrated. One of my directors dropped off. I'm not paid at title. I don't have 4 directors. I'm not paid at title right now. It's driving me insane. But I know that I'm working closely with leaders who freaking rock. And I know that they're going to pop up, and probably in the fall, I'm going to have more directors than I even need. And it's going to be amazing and wonderful and awesome. Okay. But if I sat here and I wasn't transparent with you and I wasn't honest with you about that, or I was sitting here and I was training with maybe 50 PRV, that's not okay. Right. But you're looking at me like, oh, Anya, y'all be very careful, be mindful. Okay. And before you ask, this is another, we're just squirreling all over the place today. Before you ask someone to train on your team page, okay, or for you or during a meeting, this is forever and ever, amen, hold on to this, ask to see their numbers. They should have no problem showing you what their report tab looks like. No problem at all. You should be able to see, okay, they're a leader, they have at least their 500 PRV. Maybe it's a crappy month. Maybe they have something going on, right? Okay, life happens, right? I'm definitely not where I want to be right now. Got over 500, but I'm not where I want to be. It's been a crazy month. We've got SFR, our husband just deployed. Like, there's a lot going on. Am I going to make it happen? Psh, duh. But I'm not where I want to be, okay? But like, I would have no problem being like, here's my numbers. Here you go. This is where I'm at right now. And then you can say, ooh, nah, girl, you go focus on your business. Or you would say, okay, come on, come train my team. That should never be a problem for anyone you ask to speak. Okay? So there is that. If that's a problem for them, there's a problem. There's a red flag. All right? So we want to make sure that we are carefully not putting people on a pedestal, number one, because everybody's human, okay? And when you put someone on a pedestal and they do something that you don't approve of or you don't like, they're going to fall off really easily. So remembering everybody's human is first. Nobody's perfect, okay? But then also making sure that those people you are looking up to are actually working their business. They're actually doing what they're supposed to be doing, okay? They're not just dropping big names because it's cool. All right? Hope that makes sense. Okay, now on to happier things. How we grow in self-awareness. All right. Okay, the first thing is looking at our strengths and our weaknesses. That's first thing. Not fun to look at those weaknesses. Okay, mine, I know I'm definitely not organized. Time management, I am terrible at. reading books on them, listening to podcasts, you know, baby steps. But like, I have to be better. I realized actually this week and last week, I was 110% a yes man. And I really overbooked myself to the point where I was so incredibly stressed out that I feel like I didn't even get to enjoy my husband in the last few days he was home. That's what that made me realize. Like, that's not okay. I've got to be more mindful with my time and my actions and what I'm doing. Okay. So that's me, one of my weaknesses. Okay. You also have to know your personality type. All right. I know that not all the time Whitney, please don't kill me. Do I have my, active by the 5th? But I always hit my goal by the end. Always. Sometimes I just cannot function the first week of the month. I don't know why. I just don't. I need to figure that out. That's another weakness. But I always hit my goals at the end, okay? So I know that that's kind of like a personality, but also I know that that's time management. Figure yourself out, girl. All right? That's my whole thing is like, at least you're 500 by the 15th. And then usually it picks up really, really fast at the end. Last minute kind of person. All right. Know your family history and the influence that others have on your life. And not only that, but the weight that you let others have for an influence on your life. If you're a leader and you constantly have people in your life that are like, what you're doing is stupid. Oh my gosh, direct sales. Seriously. Like, it's 2022, boo boo, wake up. It's okay. And it's going to be great. All right. But if you constantly have people telling you opposite, that's going to influence you. Okay. So you need to be self-aware in that aspect. Who is speaking into you, and are they speaking life or are they trying to bring you down? Okay. Even if it's your mama, I'm just saying, Mom, we're not talking about Scentsy. Moving on. Let's talk about the grandkids. Boundaries. Okay. It's another book that I'm reading. I'm reading like 5 self-help books right now. It's fine. We're just going to smash them all together. Okay. The effect on other people that you have. So that's something we talked about a little bit earlier too. Okay. What is the effect that you have on other people? Do you feel like you're building them up? Do they feel like you're building them up? Do they feel like, well, dang, every time, I talk to her, I just feel really crappy about myself. That's not good. Okay. We don't want to be that way as leaders. Your emotional temperament. I know for me, when certain things happen, I have to take a step back, I have learned, before I respond, okay? Because whatever comes out, we're just not really sure, okay? If we're going to be like really happy about it, or if we're going to be like, what the F? All right? So I have to take a step back. I know that about myself. I've learned that through this business, okay? You'll learn a lot about yourself through direct sales. So know your emotional temperament, okay? Your belief system and your motivation. That's huge. What do you believe? Do you believe you're here for a purpose? Okay. Like, what does that belief system in this business look like? Okay. And what's your motivation to keep going? Your why. All right. Your level of spiritual maturity. Remember, this is a Christian book. Okay. But even so, you should know that about yourself anyways. What do you even have spiritual maturity, right? Like, what matters to you? Okay. When it comes to spiritual maturity, intellectual development. And remember, we should always be growing. We should always be learning. If you're not learning or doing something new in this business, or you're comfortable, you're not doing something right. Okay. So remember that too. And then your own character. Okay. What does your character look like? Okay. I know, like, when I think about Whitney, I know that whatever Whitney tells me that she's going to do, she's going to do it. Period. She might be freaking 3:00 in the morning and she's dog tired and 1,000,001 things went on that she wasn't expecting. She's going to make it happen. Okay. Like, she will make it happen. Okay. For me, it might happen the next day, but it's going to happen. I might go to sleep first, but it's going to happen. Okay. So the character, your character, especially as a leader, is extremely, extremely important. Okay. And yeah, Sylvia, I like that. Stay coachable all the time. Whitney still coaches me. Okay. You guys, like, we do things together. We talk about a lot of things together, but like, there's still times where I'm like, okay, well, this is not working for me. I need to figure something out. And she coaches it out with me. Okay. So just keep that in mind. We should always be evolving and growing, and it should never be stagnant or the same. All right. So that's what we have for all of the things. Okay. And I think self-awareness is just one of those things where you constantly have to be evaluating and looking at, and not just being like, I'm great, and sticking with that. Because are you though? Are you? I don't know. Like, maybe there's something we can all work on, somewhere we can all be better. Okay. So that's what we have today for self-awareness. I love y'all. Some of y'all, I'll be seeing you soon. I'm so excited. And And we will see. I'm not going to commit, but we will see if I get one more of these in before SFR or on my way to SFR because I go a little bit later than everybody else. So y'all have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Keep working, do all of the things. That's my plan this weekend is just to work my little butt off. So I love y'all and y'all have a good day. Bye, guys.